This is VOA Africa.
Good evening, I'm Esther Gidoi. It's Friday, May 24th. This is Africa 54. Southern Angola faces its worst drought in decades. Over 2 million people are in danger of food insecurity. A look at how the African diaspora engages with the continent. And escaping the grind of Mogadishu, local tourists enjoy their day at the Lido Beach. The situation is dire in southern Angola as the nation faces its worst drought in decades, according to the United Nations Children's Fund. At least 2.3 million people are facing a high risk of food insecurity and malnutrition. Elizabeth Casimiro narrates this report by Herculano Coroado, who traveled to Cunene province, Angola.
58-year-old farmer Eduardo Nocala is struggling to find enough grass and water for the cattle his family now depends on. The worst drought to hit southern Angola in decades destroyed his entire crop. It hasn't rained since November, and thousands of farmers like Nocala were left with no harvest and little hope.
Only God knows about the drought this year, because we haven't seen something like this before.
Cattle farmers are forced to make an annual trek with their herds 3 months early in search of green pastures. Few of the animals are expected to survive. Thousands have already died. The United Nations Children's Fund says the drought has left over 2 million people in southern Angola at risk for food insecurity.
We are now starving at home and have no water due to the drought.
Malnourished children are treated at Ongiva Hospital, but Dr. Daniel Ricardo says most of those starving are too weak to reach medical care.
The health condition of these children will aggravate because this drought does not only affect people nutritionally, but also has a huge impact on the children's health at the community level.
Aid group World Vision is treating 32,000 hungry children under the age of 5 in Cunene with 11 tons of food supplements.
This is not enough. We will need to find other resources to buy additional supplies because we foresee that with the failed harvest this season, we are expecting that we will encounter a lot of malnourished children, at least until the harvest next year, which will be in May.
Angola's President João Lourenço visited the region this month and acknowledged the situation is grim.
But the government is not indifferent to this. The reason for my presence in these two provinces was a sign to show that the government is following up on what is happening in almost all of southern Angola.
Angola has promised to fund its own emergency and development programs within 4 years. While the plan is praiseworthy, aid groups say the vow of self-reliance makes it harder to attract donations to help Angolans suffering from the drought. For Herculano Coroado in Cunene province, Angola, this is Elizabeth Casimiro for VOA News.
Rockets slammed a luxury hotel in the Libyan capital early Friday in an attack the internationally recognized government blamed on Eastern forces trying to capture Tripoli. The Interior Ministry published pictures of a damaged room at the Rixos Hotel, where lawmakers opposing the offensive by troops loyal to Khalifa Haftar have been meeting. No other information about the strike was immediately available. Haftar's Libyan National Army has been trying to seize Tripoli since the beginning of April, but it has been unable to breach southern defenses. Fighting has been concentrated in southern suburbs, but the Rixos Hotel is much closer to the city center. Tripoli is home to the UN-elected government of National Accord, an interim administration backed by a UN-brokered deal in December 2015. Now, the African Union defines its diaspora as people of African origin living outside the continent. The United States and other nations have created initiatives and opportunities to engage directly with the African diaspora. Africa 54's Paul Ndiho reports.
The term African diaspora is diverse, multifaceted, multi-generational, demographic irrespective of their citizenship and nationality. The diaspora can be a powerful force for the development of Africa, especially through remittances, but perhaps more importantly through the promotion of trade, investments, research, innovation, knowledge and technology transfers. Remittances to sub-Saharan Africa grew almost 10% to 46 billion in 2018, according to the World Bank's latest migration and development brief. Margaret Mwange, a native of Uganda, mobilizes her community to fundraise and collectively send money back home to help communities.
A lot of money is being remitted to families back home, and that is done individually. And it has a lot of impact because it's even a factor in the budget. But if all these resources are leveraged collectively, the impact is much greater, because you are not targeting an individual family, a brother or sister. You are targeting a community.
Ethiopia, Africa's second most populous nation after Nigeria, is arguably one of the fastest growing economies, largely due to its diaspora and the country's new policies encouraging them to return home. For example, this newly opened hotel is owned by an Ethiopian couple who migrated back from Washington, D.C. It's part of a growing series of businesses started by Ethiopians returning from the diaspora to invest in their native land.
We wanted to create something new here in Ethiopia that's never been seen before. One of the unique things about Washington Hotel is our presidential penthouse suite. It's really unique because the construction was done in a very dynamic way that separates us from any other hotel here in Ethiopia.
Business officials said the Ethiopian capital, Addis Ababa, home to the African Union headquarters, has tripled its number of hotels in the last 3 years. Roads and buildings are now a regular part of the city's landscape. The construction industry is being driven by the country's growing economy and Ethiopians returning from abroad.
The technology flow coming up from abroad through the diaspora will be in the human aspect, soft skill, and also management aspect, and also in the hardware aspect. So they're going to be both an opportunity and a threat, but we believe in competition.
Another area where the diaspora is shaping the narrative is the documentation of the African story. In the Gambia, the Fahen Network, a foundation run by a family of Gambian women in the diaspora, is promoting literacy and education back home. Anna Faye, her two sisters, and their mother Lucy Faye started the Fahen Network in 2007 as a hobby, but it has grown into a powerful tool to influence young children and help them discover their heritage.
Africans need to take over the narrative of telling the African story. We want to use the African experience, the African voice, the African perspective to teach others, but also ourselves, so we can be proud to say, here is a children's series written by Africans for African children, and of course the rest of the world can also learn from it.
As diaspora groups continue advocating for democracy and human rights across the continent, Africa's most powerful resource is proving to be the caring attitude of its people. Paul Ndiho, VOA News.
Now to Somalia, where there is good news for Mogadishu's residents. Many are finding that spending a day at Lido Beach is a welcome escape from the grind of the city, especially on board the La Lanterna floating restaurant. Sisi Posikoyia reports.
Away from bomb blasts and gunfights, these Somalis are enjoying a day out on La Lanterna, a floating restaurant off Mogadishu's coast. Its owner, Abdul Qadir Mohammed, says he wanted to give Somalis the chance to escape the city and enjoy a glamorous day out. But for the entrepreneur's vision to be realized, he had a key issue to tackle.
When we were making this boat, we considered that pirates could hijack it and use it to attack ships. So we made it impossible for that to happen. It can only travel at low speeds, so it can't get away. Speedboats can overtake it. Also, we didn't want cups and plates falling, It's not even about pirates anymore. We're now more concerned about petty thieves.
At its peak 7 years ago, piracy off the coast of Somalia cost the shipping industry billions of dollars each year. But it's now rare, and more Somalis are venturing out to enjoy a day at the beach.
Tourism is important, and it's improving here day after day. Coming to Lido Beach gives you a lot of hope. Lots of young people come to the beach now, especially on weekends. School children come on Thursdays and Fridays, and so there are many people at the beach on those days. People love to try different things over the weekend. I'm very hopeful Somalis will embrace tourism and take advantage of the country's natural resources.
Mogadishu bears the scars of decades of lawlessness and violence, and security is still a concern. But young Somalis are undaunted. A trip to Lido Beach is the top-rated thing to do in Mogadishu on travel website TripAdvisor. And government officials say they bring thrill seekers from Malaysia, Kuwait, China, Europe and America to the area each day.
That report was by Sisipo Sikoyia of Reuters. Now, a young Rwandan woman, Claudine Mukarusine, who is an albino, has appeared in a music video that is attracting widespread attention and has helped alleviate the fears and stigma attached to the albinos in Africa. She describes the video as a spark of light in a life filled with discrimination and fear. Eugene Uwimana reports from eastern Rwanda.
Claudine Mukarusine is a 28-year-old graduate from the University of Rwanda. The music video that she acted in has gone viral.
This video played a very big role because at least many people have come to realize that people with albinism can do something which can be good and appreciated.
For Claudine, this song is a spark of light in her dark days of fears in which she worried she might be killed, as albinos have in Tanzania. The United Nations says nearly 100 albino Tanzanians have been killed since 2000.
On the first day I heard about this, I cried a whole day in the classroom. I used to cry too in my bedroom. It strongly affected me. I used to worry so much, wondering if I am going to die, but I couldn't share my sorrow with anyone. I am sure this affected my performance in my studies.
Claudine travels around Kayonza district, where she works. She's a business mentor at the National Union of Disability Organizations of Rwanda, helping 3 groups of 300 people learn about saving and access to finance.
I have hope and confidence that everything will be good. I will have a family. For work, I will contribute in developing the lives of people with albinism and other disabilities in general. I will develop my family and country.
The R&B singer James Ruhumuriza, known as King James, composed the music video after watching accounts of albinos being killed in Rwanda's neighboring countries.
So that's when I decided that I can feature her so that I can give a good message to people that even if they are albinos, but they can do anything that we can do. They can do anything they want to do.
In Rwanda, albinos say are stigmatized and fearful. People think they are cursed. There's no estimate of the number of albinos in Rwanda, but experts say if they are helped, they can successfully contribute to society. Eugene Uwimana for VOA News, Kayonza, Rwanda.
We're excited to hear what you think about Africa 54. Join the discussion on Facebook. The address is Africa 54. We're also streaming our broadcast live on Facebook. Please watch and share our show with your friends. Also check out our headlines 24/7 on voaafrica.com. Coming up, Dogo from Togo sings Sokowi. We'll be right back.
am Sheikh Sali, host and senior editor of VOA's international call-in talk show, Straight Talk Africa.
Today we'll examine the tobacco industry.
We pretty much touch on anything that you can think of. Politics, health issues, human rights issues, you name it, we talk about it. The issues that we discuss are pertinent to most people on the African continent. A very, very rare and unique opportunity to interact with their leaders.
The lyrics could be French,
English,
Portuguese,
Bantu,
Arabic.
It is the beat.
The African beat that counts.
The beat does all the translations.
It cuts across all languages and gives us the understanding that this is the African beat.
It is so distinct
and adhesive.
It binds us together.
African beat on the Voice of America. For more information, visit our website at www.voanews.com/AfricanBeat.
British Prime Minister Theresa May announced her resignation Friday, plunging the country deeper into chaos as it tries to negotiate its exit from the European Union. May's failure to get backing from Parliament for her EU withdrawal agreement eventually led to her downfall. The race to become her successor will begin on June 7th, and so does more political drama and uncertainty. Here's Henry Ridgewell.
Theresa May came to power following Britain's vote to leave the European Union. Her failure to deliver Brexit forced her resignation.
I believe it was right to persevere, even when the odds against success seemed high. But it is now clear to me that it is in the best interests of the country for a new Prime Minister to lead that effort.
Her voice cracking as her husband looked on, the Prime Minister struggled to hide her emotions.
I will shortly leave the job that it has been the honour of my life to hold. The second female Prime Minister, but certainly not the last. I do so with no ill will, but with enormous and enduring gratitude to have had the opportunity to serve the country I love.
May's decision to call a snap general election in 2017 backfired and cost her her parliamentary majority. 3 times she failed to get enough MPs to back the Brexit deal she had negotiated with Brussels. In the end, her Conservative Party had seen enough. It will choose a new leader after June 7th, a process that could take 2 months or more.
The difficulty for any new leader is that the majorities in the House of Commons have not changed.
More than a dozen Conservative MPs are expected to put their names forward to replace May. Most are demanding a tougher line with Brussels.
The chances that the EU will substantively reopen the withdrawal agreement are pretty much zero. Given how unpopular that deal has proven to be in the UK, I think the chance of no deal are very high.
Many leadership candidates say Britain must walk away with no deal if the EU doesn't budge. Among them, former Foreign Secretary and now leadership front-runner Boris Johnson.
We cannot hope to have an independent democracy in this country.
He's also well known in terms of the kind of tricks he played trying to manipulate the electorate in the end voting for leave. So I certainly think he's not seen as a positive figure in Brussels.
With the October 31st deadline looming, the chances of Britain crashing out with no deal appear to have risen. Most analysts say that would have a big negative impact on Britain's economy. May will still be in office for President Trump's state visit to Britain at the beginning of June, likely to be her final act on the political stage. She's a leader who promised to heal Britain's divisions over Brexit, but who leaves office with the country even more deeply divided and its future in or out of Europe still highly uncertain. Henry Ridgewell for VOA News, London.
The White House is considering a plan presented by the Pentagon Thursday to send thousands more troops to the Middle East to deter potential Iranian threats. Trump officials say the U.S. is not seeking to provoke Tehran, but many are concerned about the mixed messages coming out of the administration. White House correspondent Patsy Widakuswara has more. Well, we seem to have a technical problem with that story, and we'll bring it to you as soon as we're able to. Well, it's Music Makers Friday, and today we head to Togo. Dogo do Togo has won the Best World Music Artist Group Award at the 2019 Washington, D.C. Area Music Awards, known as WAMA. The award is based on Dogo's song Soko So. VOA's Music Time in Africa host Heather Maxwell talked to him about the song and his recent victory at the WAMIs. Let's take a look.
I think we should just strike a pose.
All right, hello everybody. Hi, how are you? We're really lucky today because we have in the studio not just Kwame Ofori, who's always fun to have, but we also have the artist of the Song of the Week, Dogo. Say hi, Dogo.
From Togo. Hi, I'm doing great. How are you there?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
It is great to have you on set.
Thanks.
Now, Dogo lives in the Washington, D.C. area, and he's from Togo, but he lives here, and he just won an award right here in Washington, D.C. called the WAMA, or they call it the Whammies.
Yes.
Whammies.
Oh.
It's Washington area music awards, kind of like the Grammys, but they call them the Whammies. And he won Best World Music Artist and Group of the Year. Yay! With his song, and the song is called
Sokewu.
Sokewu. What does Sokewu mean?
Forgive them.
And what are you talking about?
It's, I believe that forgiveness is a great sign of greatness. I think it is, and I think it's a sign of victory too. And I really believe that people should forgive and not keep bad things inside.
Oh, that's beautiful. Well, let's listen to the song, and then we'll come back to Dogo from Togo with Kwame from Ghana to talk about the song. First of all, how you feel about winning the award. Let's just come back to the award real quick. How do you feel? Were you surprised?
Yes, surprised. I mean, I didn't go to the ceremony because I thought I would not win.
Well, you're being real here.
Not being real. The point is, I'm kind of new. This is like a single. It's not even on the album. And
oh, wow.
It's new. That's the first year I really started the project. And I look at my category. I saw the guys in there. I'm like, whoa. I better stay home and practice.
Oh, so tell us about this. I know you have a band here in Washington, but you said that you were in Togo, and that's where you recorded this song with a Togolese group and women there. Tell us how that happened, how that came about. Did you go to Togo specifically to record music?
Yes, I go to Togo to record my songs because I believe that what I'm looking into, these songs, I will find them better there with the musicians there than here. So I go there to record the songs, actually. We went to the studio. I didn't plan to have the women in the song, but then when we, I was in my area, and then I saw them singing, and I'm like, whoa, we should sing together. And they're like, okay, what do you have? And I went to them later on with my guitar, and I played. And they're like, yeah, we like that. So we went to the studio.
Oh,
all they did is they just put one mic in front of them, and they sang.
authentic vibe in there. Like it's very earthy, it's very raw, and for them to agree just on the spot.
Yeah, the thing is, but the point also is that when we went to the studio, they wanted to make them sing one by one. I'm like,
Because that's not how they're good.
No, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
It worked. It really worked.
It's very beautiful. And so it's in a mix of Ewe and Mina.
And Mina, yes, a kind of Creole. Like I say, my parents are not from the South, so I was not like born in a village in the South and something, but I was born in Lomé, and that's the language I speak and understand. It's kind of Creole. It's a mix of Mina. Sometimes people add some French to it, even some English to it. That's what I use basically. I don't think about specific language when I write my songs. I just write them.
So sokewo, is that what you would say, like if someone's mad, like somebody did something to you and you're just so mad? Do people just, is that an expression that they say? Just, hey, sokewo.
Exactly, that's what I
love it.
There you go. Heather is right on the money.
Yeah, right on point.
I'm going to remember that one.
Voices, we're talking about the news and issues you're talking about, sharing stories of development and growth across Africa, around the world, and in our lives. Topics that inform, empower, and change the rules. It's time for Our Voices with me, Haiti Adams Fitzpatrick,
and Hadiza Kiari,
and Ayan Bior,
and Orion Itangi Shaka.
It's time for Our Voices.
And that wraps up our show for today. Watch Africa 54 on our website at voaafrica.com. From all of us here in Washington, have a fabulous weekend. What's up? You got it done. Yes, indeed.